very strong ethical values. So when I think of professional practice, I think of specialized knowledge, evidence-informed decision making. So this ties into emotional intelligence and what it takes to be a great leader. So making sure you're making decisions based on evidence rather than emotion. Lastly, continuous development of self and others. Work ethic is a set of moral principles an employee uses in their job. Those could be something like reliability, dependability, dedication, productivity, and one of the most important, I believe, is teamwork. Now, let's dive into program standard that I found most related, personal and ethical foundations. And I wanted to touch on one of the outcomes that I believe is very crucial to me to talk about. So it says identifying the challenges associated with balancing personal and professional responsibilities and being able to recognize the intersection of one's personal and professional life. So I'm a strong believer in that you don't have to work overtime or you don't have to work more hours than you should just to have a good work ethic. I believe the key to a good work ethic is mastering productivity. So mastering those time management skills, mastering productivity and knowing how to spend your time doing things that are most important. As far as a program student outcome and experience that I can mostly relate to is my position as a resident assistant. There, I did get hands-on field experience because I was interacting with students on a daily basis. We were also asked to take part of many professional developments throughout the year, and as you can see, I was building relationships with a bunch of diverse students that year, a bunch of different personalities, a bunch of different strong characters, learning how to work with there. And program ethical standard found mostly related is autonomy. We're working with students through a very crucial time and stage, and we really do serve as a basically a tour guide for college. Also, veracity, which means to stay up to date with relevant info to guide students appropriately. I felt like as a first generation student, I was shuffled a lot to different departments when I could have been saved time if I was directed in the correct manner. So definitely something I try to be aware of when I'm helping out students. So next will be professional qualities. So these are the characteristics that you can show an employer and colleagues that you can do your job well. So competence and knowledge. And again, I'm probably going to talk about emotional intelligence a lot just because I believe it is such a crucial component in working as a student development professional. So diving into the program standards, first one would be student learning and development. I believe it's important to provide alternative models that explore student learning and development from an inclusive paradigm. Also, social justice and inclusion, again, advocating on issues of social justice and impacting people based on local, national, and global connections. So, again, something that is something that is very important to me is inclusion and making sure that all students are seen as individuals and not just um, as a group. Next would be a program student outcomes. So again, I could best relate this to my involvement as a student senator. Our SGA, our Student Governing Association, did a phenomenal job of modeling what it was to be a leader, be an advisor. We had advisors that helped facilitate our professional development. And really, whenever I'm giving a presentation or talking to students, I try to reflect back on what made them such powerful learners, or what stories did they say that made the professional development more engaging. So next, program ethical standard most related would be justice, just because as like I was saying, we have a responsibility to advocate what's in the best interest for our students and everyone that we work with. Next will be professional relationships, which involves people working together to achieve a common goal for the benefit of their company or organization. So as soon as I thought of professional relationships, I thought of a quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, then go together. We could best relate the program standard to the organizational and human resources. Again, it's hard to picture a world without HR. HR plays such a crucial role in minimizing the risk of self, students, and other constituents at an institution, as well as going back to our quote and relating it to advising and supporting. I am aware that I am a control freak. However, I've also come to understand that I can't do everything on my own. This ties into one of the foundational outcomes of advising and supporting is having the ability to recognize the strengths and limitations of one's worldwide view on communication with others. Moving on to program student outcome, again, relating it back to my experience as a resident assistant. In my field experience, I was working with a team. I was working with many different types of personalities that I believe has made me a successful in my after undergrad life. We're constantly being or asked to be aware of deadlines, turning things in on time, and accountability. A lot of people were counting on us, the RAs, to host good events, to really establish that good community in student housing. Program and ethical standards that I believe that best relate are beneficence. I hope I'm saying that right. Is considering the thoughts and feelings of others. And an example that I could give is that because I was a first generation student, I had to navigate that through all by myself. I like to think of that as an advantage because I graduated college not that long ago, so everything is still fresh in my mind. So I'm able to really help navigate or better relate to students in college right now. And affiliation, I do not believe that I would have been as successful as I am now due to my involvement in student freshman orientation, student senate, RAing, really helped me be successful because of the people that I was surrounding myself with. Professional development refers to the training and certification of education that a worker needs to succeed. And I am really big on professional development, professional or different types of conferences, just because I did get a taste of that as my involvement. So right here, you can see a picture of me and my colleagues at a conference. I believe that was National Council of Student Leadership. Moving on, again, program standards bestly related to leadership. And I remember from a leadership class that I took, stressing the importance of having a transformational leadership style. So it uses motivation and inspiration to gain the support of employees. And it also creates a valuable and positive change in the followers with the end goal of developing followers into leaders, which is something I believe is very, very crucial to go on a program student outcome. I could again bring it back to my experience with our student senate advisors, really just preparing us for post-secondary. I hadn't been aware of it at the time, but now that I'm reflecting back on it, I'm thinking about all the benefits it did to me being involved in our student governing association for those 3 years in my undergrad. Program ethical standards. So autonomy, again, we are developing followers into leaders. And I believe that that is very crucial just because, again, we are meeting these students at such a crucial time. A lot of them haven't been away from home in a while. So we're really being, again, that tour guide, making sure that they are on the right path. So that is my content conclusion. So my professional disposition and professional commitment is going to be devoted to advocating for equal access and opportunity for all students, while also producing an individualized educational experience dedicated to the needs of students. The importance of disposition implementation in academic advising is that it's going to produce well-rounded advisors. Again, it sets a foundation. It sets something that these academic advisors can look back on and refer to when feeling lost. It also prepares advisors for career trajectory. So, make sure that academic advisors aren't always just staying in the same place. They're constantly growing in the position. And then lastly, it gains respect and admiration by students. Again, we come across many, many students, and I believe it's important that we model good, positive behavior. That way they can get a hands-on view or a hands-eye view of what being successful person looks like. So overall, that is my presentation. I look forward to hearing your feedback and looking forward to the rest of the semester.